Jim Holley, supercrossonline.com, the man who won Daytona. You've been chasing it for 8 years. Kevin Windham, you were happy when you came across that finish line.
I was. You know, it was that last lap was an emotional roller coaster, and you know, I kind of went ahead and figured I was getting second and was going to be happy with that because it was a tough track. I think it was the most brutal race that I've ever raced in, you know, professionally. And when I saw Chad stalled out, man, I couldn't believe it. It took a little while to sink in, and when I crossed that finish line, man, it was a huge win. I mean, Daytona is big, and to win it and to get over to the side and feel all the love from the sponsors and everything, it was an incredible night for me.
You know, I talked to Chad. He actually, at one point during the race, he heard your bike. It was kind of going south. Like he's thinking, oh man, Kevin's bike's not going to last, and it was his that didn't last.
Yeah, mine had some issues. You know, it was so much water, and it was electrical, and the amount of water that was on the track was not a good combination. And mine definitely was spitting and sputtering, but you know, it stayed strong, and you know, I was thankful that it made it through. It was. You know, it lived up to Daytona. You know, I know it wasn't the ordinary Daytona track, but Daytona's always brutal, and that race was certainly one of the most brutal that I think we've all ever participated in.
You know, I got to ask you, I watched the speed broadcast, and I've been in that position before where you're leading something and you see a guy go off the side of the track and you see Chad going down through the grass and he cuts right back in the middle of the apex and turn. You're looking, what are you doing?
Yeah, you know, it was in the heat of the battle. I didn't realize quite what was going on. You know, how far he was off the track and how the pass got brought back. You know, and I guess the AMA has done something to move him back a position or whatever. But at that point, you know, I mean, like I fought him as much as I could the entire race, and we had talked about after the race that neither one of us really wanted to be behind each other because vision was a huge problem. The amount of rain that was falling in the mud on the track, it was just insane. You know, and the last time that we were battling that hard, I actually got stuck coming out of the corner in a deep hole where a bike had been sitting, and I thought I was done at that point. You know, so he knew he didn't want to be behind me just as bad as I didn't want to be behind him, and he got the better of me going in that corner. I guess he was on the high and dry line and got me, but. You know, it was an incredible race with getting stuck and falling and the water and getting goggles and you know, bike issues that I think everybody, you know, had at some point. It was a crazy race, and it came on top felt awesome. Yeah,
at one point you actually pulled in the mechanics area and got a new set of goggles.
Yeah, we were getting into lappers at that point, and like I said, I kind of just was content with getting second. You know, I knew Chad was out there a good ways. I'd been stuck in the mud and had several other issues, and you know, I kind of just said, all right, well, I'm going to get second. That's what I'm going to do. I'm coming up on some lappers. I'm going to get some goggles, and hopefully they'll be enough just to get me past the lappers and then do whatever I need to do. And you know, it's wild how it worked out, but I was really glad to see the big 22 stuck in a mud hole. And when I went by him, I just, you know, nothing but teeth showing for the last 3 corners.
Well, let's talk about the championship now. You've brought it to within 23 points, and we're coming in here to Minneapolis. What are your goals coming into Minneapolis?
My goals for the rest of the season is not have a ride like I had in Indy. You know, I think, you know, things have been working pretty well, and if I could have avoided that 5th place finish in Indy, you know, we'd be a lot closer than we are now. And, you know, he's had a couple bad rides where he's got, you know, a couple 6s, I believe, or whatever they wound up giving him at Daytona. It may have been 7th, but right now, that's the difference. Is if we could erase these bad finishes like outside the top 3, that's just so such an important part of what we're doing right now. I mean, consistency is the #1 thing. I mean, he's strong. He's going to always be there. He's kind of always been there, for, you know, typically. And other than that, just stay focused and keep doing what I'm doing. It seems to have been working.
Well, one last question for Kevin Windham. I had a chance to fly back after Indianapolis with Jeff Spencer. Jeff, I've known him for years, talked to him. Do you think you have a little advantage with Jeff Spencer, knowing he used to work for Chad and he knows what Chad's weaknesses are?
Yeah, I think I have a great advantage working with Jeff, and I mean, I don't really know how much it has to do with him working with Chad before. I mean, obviously, you know, he kind of knows Chad more than I certainly know Chad or some of the other people, but he knows what works for me, and you know, it's been a pleasure working with him. And you know, Indy was a tough race for us, and it's one that we kind of put behind us, and time to move forward. So we've been working hard on that, and I think rebounding the Daytona was a big plus. And you know, being here in Minnie now, last time I raced here, I won, and I like this place, so I'm glad to be back.
And that was the key right there. You said in that comment that you put Indianapolis behind you, because I know, like Jeff Spencer, like he doesn't dwell on the past. Let's move on to the future.
Well, exactly, and you know, we both believe that my best work's ahead of me, so we gotta stay focused and continue. You know, I'm 30 years old, but I feel like you know, I got a lot to offer to myself and my sponsors and my fans and the sport, and I feel like I'm a long ways from being done, and I'm having a great season, and we got to keep plugging away and moving forward.
Oh, there you heard it from Kevin Windham. Hopefully he can make it 15 in his career here in Minneapolis.